clear, coming through Geocache Talk. A voice on the line I hear, coming through Geocache Talk.
It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness.
Big thanks to the Travel Bugs for our opening and our featured patrons, Anhe El Damon. Anhe El Damon. I know that's bad. That's close. I'm sorry. Emily Renee, Scout Mom 5, and Spire Crew, Scrabble Hounds, Jinxer 05, Float Your Goat, Just Be, Baker 6 Clan, Little Black Dog, and our new patrons, Firefly 8317, Team Murky, 1940 Chevy, and Joyful Nomad. If you'd like to become a patron, click on the Become a Patron link, which is the heart, on the front page of the Geocache Talk website, or head on over to patreon.com/Geocache Talk for more details. Patrons get the now famous blackout coin.
And the not available green. Oh, wait, it's not available.
It's not available. the elusive green coin.
The elusive one that Gary just carelessly lost.
I did. I feel terrible about it, but I got a lead on one, so I'm hopefully going to replace it because I've got other coins that we're going to talk about at some point that'll be available for people to procure
Just
or purchase.
Fun Christmas stocking stuffers, right?
Absolutely, man. Those are perfect. Other geocaching items during the year. The $10 level, the golden ammo can, they get some extra items. They got your book recently,
Yeah,
which we can go ahead and talk about as far as items that you might be interested in to get.
yeah. They got yours before mine, right? But
Yeah,
then
they did.
And we wanted to make sure we got them both out here before the end of the year, so a bunch of good sports to pass on, and maybe who knows if we get locked down again, maybe you need some extra reading material.
Exactly. Ammo Can in the Woods, a geocaching anthology, which has poems, clean limericks. Oh, look at that photo.
I didn't even know that was a thing before you wrote that book. Clean limericks.
Yeah, clean limericks that you can actually. Hey, look, that's the photo from the book. That's us actually finding that cache that we talked about, which was we were a little bit in panic mode.
It happens. Hey, I've done way more dumb things since then.
And then the other one, make a good stocking stuffer. Yeah, put underneath your stocking. Like, do you have bags at your house underneath the stocking? We do. Overflow bags.
Yeah, we've had the same stockings for like 25 years.
I finally upgraded mine. Mine was from my childhood, so it stuck out. All the other ones were kind of cool looking, and there's my red and white, from when I was a kid, and had some sort of weird Santa on the front of it. It's like, okay, I can, but it was big, so I always appreciated the fact that stocking was good size. But I finally retired it. But we always have overflow bags, so that's kind of fun. But this is available as well. Word search, geocaching word search.
If you're a word search person, it's a good way to kill the time, and it's geocaching related. And we're always trying to add more to the geocaching universe. So little pieces at a time.
It's a great little stocking stuffer or underneath the tree item for your little geocacher. There's some cool stuff in here. Did you have a lot of fun doing this one?
Yeah, well, it's a
Ac-
project with the CFO and I, so we got to have
acronym.
fun. And since I have a 13-year-old in-house editor, I made her try all the puzzles out.
That's good. I like the acronyms.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay, so there you go. A couple books that you can pick up for the holidays and to provide for others. So let's jump right into show 223 as we discuss what I titled, and I think is a good title, Proper Geocaching.
Right. Obviously, this is going to be one of those things like everybody else. I'll just say it ahead of time. We're giving opinions. And if you don't like them, it will be over an hour. So, and kind of the hint, I did put a little hint on there. I'm kind of playing the Goofus character tonight. Gary gets to be gallant. We're going to kind of attack some of these thoughts on geocaching from a couple different ways. And guess what? Everybody still play the game however they want to, right? As long as you're being nice to people and enjoying yourself, just do it. And then we're going to make a little light of it too, obviously. But even at the end of this, if you're not hurting anybody and you're not being mean to anybody, play it however you want.
Right.
Like I always say, right?
Yeah. But first, we've got some news to cover. Couple items that we want to take care of in the news section. One is that came from HQ. We mentioned it last week, but we'll mention it again. They've extended the deadline to December 15th, 2020 for all Adventure Labs to go public. HQ will monitor changes over the next few months to see if further adjustments are needed. There's no need for those with Adventure Lab credits to write in to request an extension. So I think
that's happening a bunch. Yeah. But you know what? If you're in an area and you're closing in on the deadline, and for some reason you're locked down based on your local rules, I would almost bet that geocaching will give you an extension if it gets down to it. Now, try to put it out if you can, right? But
right.
Like if you're working on one already and it's inside the museum, your local museum, and you know the museum is not going to be open for several months,
right?
Probably want to reach out and let them know, hey, can I do this? Or because it's not really a review process, right? We talked about labs recently. It's not a review process like a lot of other things. So there's not an extra step.
Right.
So you're going to have to kind of communicate a little differently than you would. And if this stuff stays around, they'll probably extend it even further.
Right.
I think the community events are extended all the way through really far to 2021, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, there'll be more on that too soon. But real quick, just to put this one topic to bed, are there hidden trackables in the word search book?
There is one. I tried to answer him before we got started. There is one, but it's not as many as the other one, right? The challenge book has a bunch of them hidden in there and related trackables hidden. This one has one at the end just because it's kind of tradition. I'm not going to get into the fact that there's going to be another book, but when there is another book, I've got some ideas of how to hide some stuff inside that one a little differently, a little more creative.
We got break. Oh, not that one.
No. We're not at the point where we can do that one yet. But
yeah,
the old Rona has slowed down my progress on the other book, unfortunately, because it involves a lot of travel.
Yeah. So. Well, yeah. So we both have something we're hoping to get out. Probably what Q1, probably.
Maybe.
Probably. Yeah.
Because there's something else really big happening in Q1. It may not be till kind of the start of Q2, which I know we keep teasing that, but we have to get together with the patrons and talk to them one more time before we make the huge big announcement, right?
Yeah, we have two major things going on,
right?
And there's one has sort of become so major that the other major thing has been pushed forward. So we keep delaying one of our major announcements because the other one is sort of taking its place for the time being.
Well, yeah, two kind of unannounced things, and there's really a third thing because we're about to get into Podcast of Hope is coming up.
Yeah.
And we don't try to we tend to not let anything else interfere with Podcast of Hope. So we pushed a couple things because we want to make sure that nothing interferes with that. And they're asking for a teaser for the big event. Nobody will not know about this when it comes out. Everybody in the whole geocaching world will know about the big thing that's coming out in Q1. I can tell you that. And then we'll have one more chat with the patrons who kind of already know what's going on, and then we'll let everybody know about that one very, very soon. Maybe even make the big announcement on Podcast of Hope. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. The really, really big one. Yeah. It's involving geocachers everywhere. It's not just the Geocache Talk community.
Yeah, everybody. All geocachers worldwide.
All geocachers all over the world.
Yeah.
And so,
you know what? That we should, instead of teasing,
there is going to be I think we're putting something together for that. What Pizza Ninja saying? It moves around. Hang on. Pizza Ninja talking about a teaser trailer.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll make sure everybody knows by the time Podcast of Hope happens what the big next year announcement is.
Yeah. And we have one built for the other one, but it's gonna have to wait. So
that's right. Some people have seen it already.
Jeff.
Okay, he's right. Let's move on because we've been spending much time on it. We want to talk about it, but we can't yet. So okay. We gotta do it right. So St. Jude.
Yeah. So real quick, there is one hidden trackable in the ammo can book.
Okay.
But it's tricky because it's split into different pages. So you really got to work a little bit to piece it together. So you got to piece the whole thing together to get your trackables. So,
yeah. Because it's always fun to have extra games, right?
Yeah. UDAC. I believe it means
quarter.
Quarter.
But let's not skip over Podcast of Hope. That's coming up, and we want to make sure everybody. Not that we haven't talked about it a whole bunch, but we're going to talk about it a whole bunch, right?
Yeah, Podcast of Hope is out in 4 weeks. Can you believe it? In 4 weeks, we'll be doing Podcast of Hope. It's insane that it's that close.
Yeah, it's if anybody that doesn't know, it's if you're new to the show or new to the network. Because you'll hear about it on every network show that we have. Once a year, every year, we do a fundraiser. It originally started, we picked a charity, we picked St. Jude, and originally we intended to change charities every year, but none of us, when we talked about it, could move away from St. Jude. We just can't. So we continue to use St. Jude. It's hard to imagine sending dollars elsewhere when St. Jude exists. We'll talk a lot more about St. Jude during the Podcast of Hope, but obviously they're a research hospital. They battle childhood cancer. Mm-hmm. It's hard to go against that. They're great stewards of their money, and every year we try to raise money for them because they need it because parents don't pay. And we've, through the great, just so generous donations of everybody that listens to the show, we've been able to raise more money every year for them. I get that there's a limit because we're not like standard traditional news media or TV shows or whatever else, but any little bit that we can do to help them out is huge. And that's the really good thing we get to do every year. We get to do this one good thing. The rest of the year we get to play and have a lot of fun. We still have fun on that night, but this is the one good redeeming thing that we do that's not anything about us. It's all about them. So
no, absolutely. Last year we raised over $7,700 for St. Jude. It's great. They really have battled childhood cancer. I mean, when they first started the hospital, childhood survival rates were at 20%. Now it's like flipped. Now it's like 80%. Mm-hmm. So we want to get to a point. We will stop supporting St. Jude when there's no longer any childhood cancer. That's my promise to you. That's when we'll be done. But it's got to be completely gone. So
I like what Tom said. It's not that there aren't other places that could use our money, but this one is an awesome choice. I 100% agree. It's not that there aren't other charities, but we just can't move away from it once we've started.
No,
it's impossible for us.
No, I mean, childhood cancer, I don't even want to think about it right now because it's terrible. But we have to sometimes face that we all have to come together to help, and so many people have helped.
Oh gosh,
And
yeah.
it's been great. A lot of people are pitched in, and like I said, the survival rates are going up, so it's making a difference. They do other things we'll talk about. Chrissy likes for us to always mention that they're involved with some other items as well. They're battling other things.
Right. Yeah. It's not only childhood cancer; it's all childhood diseases, but they do work in some other things as well.
Yeah, but it's great. It's a great cause, and we're involved. Now, the reason I put it up on the screen, it's fundraising.stjude.org/podcast of POH 2020. It stands for Podcast of Hope. So POH 2020. And the reason we put that up on the screen right now is because if somebody can't be there for Podcast of Hope, it's December 6th from 4 p.m. to midnight. And if for some reason you're not going to be able to make it that night, and because we really encourage you to give that night, because every hour we give away, because people have graciously donated prizes to the donors of St. Jude. And so, if you're going to be around, I would suggest you wait and give your money that evening, because you get a chance to win a prize. I mean, that's not the point, but
if you want to, right? If you want to donate earlier to that, and we'll keep it open a little bit longer after that too, but feel free anytime, but just know that we're giving away prizes and having a lot of fun that night. So you're under no obligation to do it that night, but the prizes are for that night. So
yeah. So there it is. It's in the show notes. There will be a link on we'll start to, this week the link will be put on. It's been on the website before, but we'll put it back on the website in case you want to click on it and find out more about St. Jude and our participation. It'll be on the website, but also in the show notes if you need the link. fundraising.stjude.org/POH 2020, which stands for Podcast of Hope. So there you go.
So a couple comments, and I know we got to move on to the full meat of the show tonight, right? But a couple people did mention that charity donations are down right now because a lot of people are struggling.
Yeah,
you
mentioned. Yeah,
we're going to try to do our best.
She's right. Yeah,
do what we can for St. Jude. Understanding that everything is different in the world right now, but even more so this year, we want to try to donate what we can, right?
Yeah.
And somebody else asked about guests. Over the next 4 weeks, we'll put more and more of that information out. We want to make sure everybody gets to confirm that they're going to be able to be there that night because it's so important,
we're putting together a video for that, by the way.
We'll have that coming out soon. It's 4 p.m. to midnight Central Time.
So adjust accordingly your schedules. Yes, thanks.
And Dire Wolf asked a couple questions. How long have we been doing it? Would we pick them? We'll go into that full story on Podcast of Hope, why we started with them, why we think they're such a deserving charity, and everything else. So, but it'll take, that's what we have, 8 hours, right? We can talk about a lot of that stuff, and it's very personal to all of us that are involved in it. So we'll go into those full stories, and but at some point we got to talk about proper geocaching.
Yeah. So we're wrapped up. We've got a video that I've actually Derek's working on a video for us for the confirmed guests. We have some great guests that are confirmed. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of stuff that we really, it's new.
Yeah,
we've never had. One of the guests on is pretty incredible. So it's amazing. But we have lots of great guests. So I'm just want to point out one of them. We're going to put together a montage for everybody. So looking forward to that. So let's talk about proper geocaching. This is an interesting topic. But
a fun one, a fun topic. We're going to make fun of it a little bit, but
yeah, we had this kind of came about really because of a couple items that happened to me that we'll talk about tonight. And I told Jesse, I said, we got to do a show on this because these two events were kind of surprising to me that they would happen. It's like, they're not really what I would consider proper geocaching, but first, before we do that, let's get the first one, which is what you should do prior to geocaching. Well, before you go out, there's some things that we think you should do. And what are some of those things that you should do before you actually even step out the door to go find a cache?
So if it's a puzzle, you post on Facebook and see if anybody will solve it for you. That's there's groups that will do that for you, right? So you don't have to actually solve puzzles anymore.
Goofus, no, we don't do that.
Forgot to put we may not, but it is done quite frequently. I'm just going to point out.
Yeah, no, they do. I wonder if I can change my name.
You know what? Yeah, we got to take a step back. We should brush our teeth first before we
brush your teeth. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Grab a pen. Exactly.
Solve the puzzles beforehand. I think that'll help because I think grab a pen. That's a good one.
Wait, you have to solve your own puzzles?
Yes, you need to solve your own puzzles.
So let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Have you solved every puzzle that you got a smiley on?
Have I solved every puzzle that I have a smiley on? No.
You could have at least lied a little bit.
No,
that's my side. You're supposed to be taking the good side.
I know. There have been a couple that our group puzzle person has done, and we just trusted that he knew what he was doing. So we just kind of tagged along and went, okay, we'll search for it. Now we had to search for it, and I had to find it. But yeah. So
that we could talk an hour about that, right? About the etiquette. Yeah. I think we've talked about it before too, but the etiquette of solving puzzles and who should solve them. And, if you don't solve them, are you doing the game right? Everything else. And that gets into such a semantic game that it's old, right?
Yeah.
I will 100% admit I have not solved every puzzle that I've found, right? Because we go in groups and we get and do everything else. And
yeah.
I've even found a puzzle by accident. More than one, actually, by accident.
Have you really? Wow, yeah. That's cool.
I was looking for a place to hide a cache, and I found a cache.
You found a cache.
Apparently, we were both right. It was a good place to hide a cache.
It was a good place. Yeah. I found that one time. It was a letterbox.
Yeah.
I mean, not letterbox hybrid. It was letterbox.
Yeah. I found some of those before, too. Yeah.
So, obviously, me and whoever the letterbox person was both thought it was a great place for it because I put my cache, or I started to put my cache there. I was like, what's this? And it's like, oh. I was like, of course, I'm thinking geocache at first. And it's like, no, there's no geocache here. So I did some investigating. Yeah. So, all right. Other things that we should do before, and this one leads back to, some of these things are just proper geocaching, as in save you some time and headache. This is a good, there's the example of read the description.
That's for newbies. Reading the description is for suckers.
Well,
if you know how to geocache, you don't need to read the description.
No,
you just show up and figure it out from there.
Yeah, no goofus. The one I'm showing on the screen was your finish of the old Jasmers.
Yeah, that was Jasmer and a 5,000 milestone too, wasn't it?
And a 5,000 milestone for you. And
yeah.
we had,
if we'd have read that description, we'd have found it a lot faster.
We'd have found it in about 5 minutes, probably, or 10 minutes. Instead, it took us about 55 minutes to find that cache.
Right.
Because the description was very key. Because it's been out there a long time, so there was things that weren't there anymore. And like I said, you needed to kind of read the descriptions.
So truth time.
Yes.
Like the puzzles. Do you always read the description before you look for the cache?
I would say about 90% of the time, 9 out of 10.
I'm going to say, I could lie and say that I do that, but that is not true. If it's a traditional, most of the time, if I can't find it, then I'll start reading the description.
Sure.
If I still can't find it, then I'll read, I'll look for the hints or the logs or whatever else, or even photos if I'm getting really desperate, right? But
yeah, that was
traditional, and it's not a super hard one, and it's just one in the middle of a day. All joking aside, I don't really read the description most of the time.
Yeah. Read the description, but don't read the hint or logs until I have searched a while. That's
Yeah.
a good one. Husker Medic, that's very good. That's kind of, I guess, I do follow what you're talking about, Jesse, which is if I'll start with, if I can't find it on initial look, if I haven't looked, which I probably have already read the description, I'll reread the description or read it for the first time and then look again. We found one today, and I think it was about 24 feet off, in my opinion. But then again, it's well within the range for,
yeah.
I don't use whatever that device is that some people use. I use my iPhone, which is because I got it and it works great.
Mm-hmm.
But once in a while, you have to expand your search. And we had to expand our search. Susan, of course, found it. She's a better geocacher than me. But I had gone so far because we had searched. The description said that there was a tree, a downed tree. Okay, well, the first place I went to look was at GZ, what I consider GZ.
Right.
I understand GZ isn't always GZ, but you got to start somewhere. So I got to, a working point of GZ.
Right.
And there's a half a tree there. So I'm thinking down tree. There we are. Start searching. I'm not finding it. So Susan went around the corner, like I said, about 24 feet. Because I marked it later. I went over to where the cache was and I marked it to figure out, just to see out of curiosity, how far I was from it. And she was at another down tree and she was able to find it. But so description, log. I usually go description, logs, and then if I have to, I'll look at hint, and then lastly, I'll look at photos. Is that kind of?
Yeah, pretty much. And one thing mentioned was a good description is part of what I enjoy about geocaching. If I guess the dividing line for me, taking off the Goofus hat for a second, right, is if I'm going out somewhere and it's a 1-1 and the title of it is Under a Bush, I'm probably not really investigating much on that one, right?
Right.
Now, if it's a hike or anything substantial, like in the middle of the day when if me and a buddy are out just running around just grabbing caches real quick, and there's a bunch of just random caches around that are low DTs, I don't really investigate much unless I don't immediately see it. Half the time, especially out in the country or whatever, or out in the plains, you can see it when you stop. It's like at the bottom of a post or a tree. So you see a lot of those. But yeah, if I'm going to go for a hike or if I'm going to do anything, substantial, absolutely read the description. And I do, as we all know, I do really appreciate when people put some time and stuff into the description. But if it's called Under the Bush and it's a 1-1, nobody's reading that description. Everybody can make up whatever they want, but they're not reading that description.
They're not gonna read that.
You're jumping out and grabbing it, signing it, and jump back in the car.
Absolutely. GZ or GZ for our Canadian or British or Australian friends. Thank you, Aussies. We appreciate you guys down under. Thank you so much for all you're doing. We were wanting to have Craig on at some point. We'll have Craig on. Craig's not able to be on right now during his Mondays, but thank you, my friend, for being on at least enough to pop on for the show for a little bit today. Hopefully you can stay on for the show. But all right, next is download offline. Now, this is really good because this one happened to me again. So I was definitely a goofus again. So I'm more of a goofus. Maybe you're more of a gallant.
I think it depends on which one we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Well, I've gotten into sticky wicket, as it were, on trying to find caches in parts unknown, as they say in Texas. And this happened to me this weekend. We were in Arkansas. We were in the sticks, as it were, the boonies in parts of Arkansas. No cell coverage, and I had forgotten to download a couple caches that we wanted to find because we were doing a few counties. So when I finally got signal, I went, oh, I got to download these real quick. So I downloaded the ones I was missing. But yeah, if you don't download ahead of time, you might be wandering around going, I don't have any signal, so I can't do this cache.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the gallant side when it comes to this one. Before I go out, every time before I go out, unless I'm finding an FTF or, in a brand new area and I didn't know I was going to go geocaching, mine are always save offline. I do that every single time. Now, a lot of times it's because there's bad cell service out in the mountains or whatever else, but I always save it offline. Now, I'll still check if I get somewhere new, but yeah, that's one of the best features we have.
Yeah. And you're right. You're correct, Direwolf. It was bad by accident. We're going to get to the bad on purpose, people, here in a
Yeah.
We're going to get to some serious goofuses here in a minute, but
okay. Yeah. So we get there. We actually make it to the cache. Now what?
Okay. So we get to the cache and we find it. Okay. A couple things that are key when you find it. One is you got to sign the log. What a novel thing.
Every one of them?
Every log that you need. Yeah. Every cache needs a physical log. If it's supposed to have a physical log,
right,
then you need to sign it. Not just go, oh, I forgot my pen, so I'm just going to skip it.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but I'm sure you've seen some of these. Due to COVID, I did not sign the log.
Yeah, right.
So you being the nice guy, what do you do in that situation?
Well, I guess if I'm the gallant cache owner,
yeah,
I guess I leave it. And don't say anything. But
so I'm probably not that nice, whether I'm playing Goofus or not. That is, and I understand some people are worried about Corona because it's a bad thing. It's going on. We're not going to get into that, right? It's horrible. It's stopping the world. However, I have to say, if you're so worried about touching the cache that you can't sign it, maybe don't go geocaching for a little while.
Yeah, maybe
safe. Go do a virtual, do an Earth cache. There are 8 billion labs out there. We just covered that. Do one of those. I want everybody to feel safe. At the same time, if you feel so unsafe you can't write your name on a piece of paper, go do something different.
Yeah, like even if it's a nano, and and Scott, you don't
have to sign nanos, do you?
Even if it's a nano, and you just sign it properly, not across the entire nano page, but he knows.
Wait.
He knows.
I gotta call you out on this one, Gallant. How do you properly sign a log?
Well, for a nano, there are pages, or there's lines on the page.
Mm-hmm.
You take one. You
get block for each letter.
One square on a nano page. That's it. Fit in your whole name in there, or put in like we do. We put GS and SM for G Slink and Slinky Mama, but don't whip out your stamp and stamp the whole darn thing. Although Jesse has a great idea if you do use a stamp, what you should do, but we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But yeah, come on, let's do it right. So signed in dirt I guess that will function.
So I will say that the rules do not say write your full name, write half a name.
Nope.
Don't say put a date on there. They don't say what to sign it in. You could sign it in bird poop if you wanted to.
Yeah.
As long as you're signing it, I think that's all that matters, right? Now, a lot of people get a little uppity. You didn't sign it at the bottom. And
no, you're being a goofus, Jinxer05. Sign it. Saves the rolling. I love it. That's funny.
I project positive energy.
Yeah, I love that.
I like that. All right, but what if the log is yucky? You expect me to touch that nasty, yucky, moldy log?
Yeah, I mean, geocaching is a dangerous business going out your door.
Come on now. Who's going to know if I don't sign a wet log?
Yeah, but you should try to do something. If it's wet, dry it out a little bit and then sign it. I've done that.
Wait.
I've taken the
I'm
log.
supposed to wait around for a wet log because they didn't keep it dry. I could be getting 10 more smileys during that time.
I've taken a wet log that was still signable, take it back to the car, fire up the heater on full blast, and dry that thing out. It doesn't take that long. Just take a couple minutes, take some time, dry it out, then sign it and put it back.
But if I saw it and I touched it, shouldn't that count?
No. Well, it could, I guess, but that's not proper geocaching. That's just careless geocaching.
It just says sign it. Doesn't really even say sign whose name.
I've seen
sign the cache. I don't even think it says sign your own name.
I've seen people do that. Sign in chlorophyll. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring a space pen. It'll sign anything. There you go. Yeah. Susan has one she's got one of those power tanks. It'll pretty much sign anything. We got some giveaways for Podcast to Hope or from Right in the Rain. They got some pens that'll write on anything. So,
I will have to say I actually do have one of those, but
that's pretty cool.
The UV light pen. There you go.
Yeah, I guess they might work. A stamp might work good on a wet log. Maybe if they do, that's great.
You know what a stamp that wet log and it just smudges. You can't even tell what it is.
Yeah, well, do your best. Do your best, but try to sign it. Try to properly geocache for that. All right, next one. Okay, so I have done this. So I wouldn't call this a Goofus thing, but I have signed. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but I probably signed dozens and dozens of caches MCC. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, see. Oh,
that works. That works. Replace the mush log with a nearest receipt, or carry a few fresh logs and put those in there. Be a good person, and but that gets into a whole other thing about you shouldn't fix other people's log caches and all that. We've heard all that. Leave a fingerprint. I've seen that too, Jinxer. You're right. Very good. So what are your thoughts on this, Goofus? MCC, sign as MCC?
I've never signed as MCC.
What's that?
I've never done that. I've never signed as MCC before.
Well, but have you ever signed it with something else?
That's not what you asked me. No. Yes, group caching I think is perfectly okay.
Group caching.
What I prefer to do is I just find when somebody like MCC has gone out caching all day, and I just log that online and say I was with MCC. I don't even leave the house. I save the environment by not using gas that way.
No, Goofus, you had to have been there. You have to be there.
What does it matter?
In fact, we practice group caching where everybody has to find it. So if you see it, we play the old Hucklebuckle game where you see it, you kind of walk away or whatever. Sometimes you have to walk away. And you say Hucklebuckle. And everybody goes, oh, great. Well, at least somebody's found it. So then we all have to go. We have to look at the last person to find it has to grab the cache and do the signing. So
then how am I going to get ahead of my friends?
You're
so
not.
What about if I play Hucklebuckle a new way? I find it and then I chunk it. And if they can't find it, they just don't get the smiley.
No, Goofus, we can't do that. we can't do that. MCC stands for Motley Caching Crew, by the way. That's we're the Motley Caching Crew. We are very careful. Oh, there you go. That's a good one. ABOC, a bunch of cachers. That works.
But now does that count? Because it says in the rules you're supposed to sign it. If somebody else signs it for you, are you signing it?
I think in this case it's proper because
cheater.
I know you want to make sure that everybody has found the cache, but we all sign it. It saves. We don't need to have 6 names on there and take up space. Just put one name. We're all together. We all found it together. I think it's proper, but again, it varies.
Ain't nobody has time for Hucklebuckle.
For Hucklebuckle, we do.
Slow down geocache. That's right. You can get 5 more smileys in that amount of time.
Yeah, some very non-proper geocaching is, hey, there's 6 of us. Let's all go find the next 6 caches, and let's claim that all six of us were at all 6 caches. You ever heard of
Yeah.
that?
That's teamwork, right?
Teamwork. No,
Yeah.
no, that's not proper geocaching.
But what if somebody's under the weather and they can't go that day? They're going to miss all those smileys?
They are going to miss all those smileys.
This is silly. I don't understand these rules.
How long? Yeah, we've let people twist in the wind for quite a while, going, "Oh my gosh, come on!" Then the pressure's on.
Yeah, if you were really good, you would take it, hide it, and take it, and then put it in their backpack or in their back pocket as they search for it.
Or in the case of our group, and you started to do this, Goofus, where you find the cache. The trick then is once you find it in your first to find of your group, you grab the cache, you walk away, and then you hold it up in the air and take a photo of you holding it while the others are searching. That
takes it to them.
Is the ultimate. And then you go, "Oh, is this what you're looking for?" That's fun.
It sounds like you're a bunch of cheaters, so let's move on to the next one.
There you go. Next one. What's the next one?
Okay. What if the container is broken or clearly not the original?
Okay. This one, if it's broken, what state of broken is it in? Is it broken, but yet there's a log in it that can be signed? Is it broken as in there's only a piece of it left?
Right. There's only a piece of it left. Let's say there's no log anymore and it's just part of a container. Is that even a cache anymore?
No.
But are you claiming that smiley?
Maybe. And here's the caveat.
You're supposed to be gallant, not Goofus.
I know.
You're stepping on my toes here.
Here's the caveat. Only if I can contact the cache owner. And typically the only time I can contact them is if I know who they are. If I don't know who they are, I might still give it a shot and send them a message.
So do you just walk away from it?
At that point, I wait a little bit of time and then I basically just walk. I log a DNF and I mark it that there's nothing. There's only pieces of the cache left. There's nothing left to sign or to replay.
But I went all the way out there and I saw the cache.
Nope.
That sounds like a smiley to me.
No, it's not.
What if I throw down 2 containers?
Throw down. Wow. Throw down 2. Now, I think you had that happen recently. I saw your video that you had.
Oh yeah.
You want to tell people about your crazy throwdown situation?
Yeah. Well, you can't blame me for taking an extra smiley. Come on.
No, I do. You can't do that.
I mean, I know the cache was what if there's just a string where the bison tube was hanging?
No good.
That's part of a cache. That's got to count.
Well, now we have been places where clearly the cache was like there's nothing left.
Right.
And we've contacted the cache owner and we go, "Hey, a lot of times we'll take a photo. We're like, here's what's left. Here's part of a bison tube or something left. Are we on the right track? Is this where it was? Oh yeah, that's the container, all right, or what's left of it. Like, all right, is it okay? Do we have permission to replace it for you? Which I know you're not supposed to replace it, but that's for another show.
What if they say no?
Oh, if they don't want us to replace it, that's fine. In fact, we've had that situation. Susan and I were doing a power trail, and they were all Halloween themed.
Mm-hmm.
And so the cache owner was very nice. They wrote it very nicely, but they wrote that if something's missing, let me know and I will get out there as soon as I can and replace it. We DNF it. We tell them we send a note. We say we're pretty sure we know exactly where you had it, or I think in this case there was part of it, so we kind of knew what we were looking for. But We just basically had to DNF it. So I like do you like the Memphis rule?
Those Geocachers have to go away. Well, that's a good example right there. So I get out there, it's a broken container. I look up the cache owner. They're not in the game anymore. Or let's say the container's not broken.
Yeah.
If they're not in the game anymore, I can just take that for my next throwdown, right?
Mm.
Because they're not in the game, they don't own it anymore. I can just take that container because I gotta have my throwdown bag.
No, Goofus.
I gotta fill up my throwdown bag. Why?
No, there's no throwdowns. Never. No, never. No,
Everybody says
never.
that's okay.
No, never throwdown. Replace if the cache owner will let you, which kind of is not even really in the rules for you to do. That's almost a breaking the rules.
I can too.
You're not really supposed to even do that. You're supposed to make the cache owner do it. But
what if you get there and you find the cache? Let's say you're hunting for a regular, right? You get there and it's, those 35 millimeter containers. The cache owner's no longer in the game. Its launch has been replaced.
Yep.
Is that really the original intent of that cache? And are you going to claim it?
That's not for you to. You're not the one to be determining whether it was proper.
Well, I mean, I'm there.
Now, yeah. So we both have the situation. You and me both, Goofus, where we've been at a location and there's two caches. You had one just the other day, right? You and the CFO, didn't you have one where the?
Oh yeah, we see it all the time.
A fake rock. You had a fake rock, didn't you, and something else?
Well, there was a nice container, and it's one of those not bison tubes, but the other I don't know what they are. They look like they're nice containers, the little metal or the black plastic ones, the real thick ones.
Oh, right.
And a nice rock also at the same location. Like it's on the post, obviously there. And somebody puts down a nice, brand new, fake rock right next to it.
Wow.
There's no way you could not see that. I don't. They were so close together, they were almost touching. Now, the most I've ever found at one time was 3 in one location. I thought that was pretty impressive.
It's like a caching Christmas tree.
Right. And it wasn't like they were throwdowns. It wasn't like one of those red herring deals.
Right.
They were legit throwdowns.
They were legit, yeah. This is interesting. Jinx05 says that she won't claim a fine if she thinks that they found a throwdown. That's good. That's very gallant of you.
Mm-hmm.
I've had situations. I think maybe you and I had one. I'm trying to remember. I think there was one I know with Susan and I. We were doing the Geo Tour and Kyle, and I forget if this one was on the Geo Tour. I think this must have been an extra one in the area that we did. We went to this end of the road sign, and we both almost simultaneously we found it, and like, what do you mean you found it? I found it. It's like, no, I found one as well. Like, no way. So we both checked. We both literally found a cache, but one at each end. So we looked and we were like, okay, where was the closest to the correct owner or correct log? And sure enough, hers had the FTF on it. So we did our best to put both of them together because the other ones would, obviously it signed a throwdown.
Mm-hmm.
So we were carefully put both logs together, signed the original, and then put them both back. And we actually took the other container. How about that?
See, you needed it for a throwdown.
We took it. Who got the throwdown? No, for another proper cache.
First fine throwdown container.
Marcellus says Jinx is a better person than I am. Oh, that's funny. Marcellus, man, we need to have him back. He has been on
all over the place.
He has been on a tear, man. That guy has been finding counties all over. I think he's really trying to find. I think I'm I'm concerned he's trying to find every single county that's available. I really think he is.
But see, if he just took my direction, he could do all that from his couch. Just log one every day. Nobody will know.
Goofus, come on now. You can't do that. All right. What's the next one, Goofus?
So not the original container.
Oh, what to do on replacing a container? Is that where we're at?
Yeah. What? Yeah, yeah. That's a good one.
Oh no, one before it. Not in the right place.
Yeah, that's kind of goes along with not the original intent, right? Like we'll kind of get into more of this later, but what if it's supposed to be a high terrain cache and you show up and it's laying on the ground? That's still it's not the original intent, and you clearly know that. Is that a true find? So, I mean, the Goofus in me is saying that's at least one find, and maybe just log one nearby just for good measure. But
just because you were in the area,
yeah,
yeah. That one is tricky for two reasons, especially if it says tree climb is required. A tree climb is required, and you get there and you're like, it's on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where do I put it? Because you look up, you're like, where's it supposed to be? I don't know where it's supposed to be. I wasn't here.
So it says tree climb. What if that's your very first 5-5?
Ooh, man.
Are you going to walk away from that without a smiley, or are you going to claim the smiley like a rational person? Come on. No, you're going to cheat. Don't lie.
No, Goofus, you can't claim that. You really can't claim it. You got a couple options.
Options. Put it on the ground.
Well, no, you can't, because you found it on the ground, so you can't technically. You have to put it back where you found it.
Find the cache, sign the log, bam. Just say it.
Oh no. Well, if it doesn't say there's a tree climber required, you might be.
No, it says tree climb required. Don't try to weave out of this one.
No, you can't. You can't do that. You can't. You've got to contact the cache owner.
Sounds like the rules were obeyed. I'm just saying.
Hope for the best.
Sign the cache, sign the log.
Now, if they can tell you where it was supposed to be, it's the second branch up. Do you see it? Yes. Okay. Go up there and put it in that branch. Can you tell if it's a liar's cache? That's right.
Yeah, liar's cache. Do you log liar's caches? Those are definitely deceiving.
You know what? I don't think I've ever logged a liar's cache. There was one near work, and I was going to do it one day, and I never did it. So I can't claim it because I never found it.
I found a few of them.
Now, here's another dilemma one.
Okay.
Mr. Goofus. There's one in Norman, Oklahoma. It's a 5-5. Just walk right up, and you just walk right up and you sign it. Boop, sign, put it back.
So liar's cache or just misleading?
It's a tribute to cancer research.
I found that one.
You have found that one too.
I have found that one.
Do you sign it? It's a 5-5.
I did.
I did too.
I signed it.
Yeah. So UDAC was, it was 5-5 for a little kid. It was.
Yeah. So what are you going to do? Get on there and bag on them?
No. Just sign that sucker and move on.
Oh, come on now. I get my smiley and then I jump online and berate them a little bit. And,
Ooh, Pizza Ninja even did do a 5-5 liar's cache. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. I've done one of those.
Oh, good. Somebody's asking about what they are. Do you want to give a quick explanation?
Yeah, so liar's cache, I don't believe they're against the rules anymore.
You mean
they are now, but I've seen one that's pretty new, so maybe it's a sneaky thing they do. But generally, a liar's cache is where they intentionally and generally let you know. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they'll be called liar's caches, but they'll change something about it. Like they'll say it's, you need a boat. They're not always 5-5. Some of them are 5-5s, but they'll have a misleading description. A lot of times the idea will be like they'll say you need a helicopter or a boat to get this cache, and it'll be in a parking lot.
Yeah. Joey's also got it. You're supposed to make up a huge lie in your
Yeah.
online log.
So that's another one too. That what they'll do is they'll say, "Please tell your story and add photos." And people, it'll be like a walk-up cache, and people will say they hiked Mount Everest to get there, and then scuba dived over, and they make up these big long stories for it.
Yeah, there's some. I've seen some funny ones on those, where, like you said, that they lost an arm, but it was okay.
Yeah, fought 3 bears, that kind of stuff.
It was the left arm, and they were right-handed, so they didn't care. It was okay they lost one. It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
They're kind of fun. I mean, but I don't know.
They're fun, but it is a perversion of statistics and of the rules in general, right? So
ain't that the truth?
Which means we need more of them.
It means
we need more of those. Really, just make up stuff constantly.
You are correct, Goofus.
That's right.
Okay, so the next one, Goofus. What if you can't get it put back in the right location? Throw
an extra one down.
No.
Okay. Chunk it as far in the tree as you can.
No, but
So duct tape. So I'll take duct tape.
No.
In the cache, the sticky side out, and then just throw it up high.
Sticky side out. No. This one's tricky because I've seen this a couple times. I don't know, Goofus, if you've seen this as well, but I have seen where, and this is really tricky too, because also you kind of need to be prepared for this. So if it's really up high, for some of us that are I'm 5'7", so
no, you're not.
I say I'm 5'8".
I'm 5'7". You're not 5'7".
I'm close to. I'm 5'7". I'm close to 5'7". I'm closer to 5'7" than 0. So anyway, 3 feet between 3 feet and 5'7". I'm closer to 5'7". But if you're to reach up and grab it, but yet you're so short that you're barely going to grab it. Now what are you going to do? Because you really can't put it back. You can't. You got to be prepared for that situation, because you got to put it back where it was supposed to be. You have a couple choices. One is you go find somebody nearby who's taller that can put it back where it's supposed to be. You can bring your car around if you can get to it, and stand on the the side of your car or something and do it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of varying ways.
That's not my problem. Let the next person worry about it. I got my smiley. What are you talking about?
So this brings me to one of my 2 stories I want to tell about really bad geocaching, which was there's a cache at the Buc-ee's here. It's in the parking lot, Buc-ee's here in town, or just south of me. MCC, and we specifically, it's a nano, and it's way up high. It's deliberately up high because we want you to bring a tool to there you go. And you get somebody to give you a boost. That's right. I need somebody to do that. So anyway, so it's up high. So I have a watch on it, because when people start signing it and they go, "Oh, I just stand on my tiptoes to sign it," then I know that it's not proper. So I'll go back out there and I'll put it back where it's supposed to be. I won't. Mm-hmm. I don't do it, but anyway. So one day somebody claimed it as a find, and so I thought, I'm gonna send them just a quick note. I'm not gonna be mean about it. I'm just gonna ask them. I said, "Hey, just asking. Did you really sign the log for that? Because it doesn't sound like you actually signed it." And they go, "Oh no, I didn't sign the log." I go, "Okay. So are you going back later to sign it?" "No, I just couldn't sign it. It was up too high." "Really? Well, and this person has like 1,000. There's like 10,000 fines. I have to go back and look. They had a lot of fines. I thought, so I was nice, and I sent him a note. A suggestion. I said, I carry a painter's pole that extends. I said, you might want to, you can get one of those you can carry with you sometime to get those that are really up high. And they sent a note back and, oh, thanks. That's a great idea. And then that was it. But I'm thinking.
So how long did you wait before you deleted their log?
Well, I don't own that cache. So we've left it. The log is the log. The person
Negative. Delete and berate.
Yeah.
A log saying you're lucky I can't delete more of your logs.
That's great. No, not only am I deleting this one, I'm contacting.
That's right. I'm calling the cache police.
Cache owners to make them delete all your caches.
That's right. I'm calling the cache police immediately. They will come to take your geocaching license away. And here's a link to the rules of geocaching.
Right. So Jinxer says, one mile is supposed to be reached hot while on tippy toes on a light pole. One guy replaced it super high and then asked me to up the terrain so I could fill his grid. Wow, there's a reversal.
That is brave right there.
That is. Hey, I moved up. Change it. That's brazen right there. That is not proper geocaching, Jinxer05.
Wait, you can't do that?
I know that she did not change that for that person.
She didn't. I asked her to change it and she never would.
Way to go, Goofus. No, we can't do that.
Oh, we can't do that? Okay. All right, my fault.
No. So there's an example of if you can't grab the cache. I've had some where I'm staring at it and I didn't bring the right, the tools with me. There was one that was in a tree. I didn't have, proper things. It really wasn't the kind you've probably seen these. You can't really climb this one. It's a tree that's like, you're supposed to bring a tool to get it down with and not
right.
It's not even
like a chainsaw.
No chainsaws. No
Put tree down.
No,
and then it's easy to get to it.
No.
You don't keep a chainsaw in your geocaching toolkit?
No, you can't do that. No,
I've used a chainsaw several times going geocaching.
Not proper.
Oh
no.
Okay.
All right. So then I had another situation, which is the next one in our notes. What if you break it?
They should have had a better cache.
No, Goofus. No. So I've heard two stories in this. Tell me if I'm going to talk to Jesse for a minute here and see.
Okay.
He's seen this. Well, so somebody put a note on one of my caches. They go, "Oh, oops, I broke your cache." Okay. And I sent a nice note back. I said, "So you going to come back out and fix it?" Never heard back. So I go out there and find it, and it wasn't really broken. It was they'd broken the holder. Okay, so sock puppet accounts for filling grids.
Yeah.
No,
whole another show right there. That we could have a fun show talking about sock puppet accounts. Now, is it really their job to come and fix your broken container?
Yes.
Your subpar container that should have been tougher.
They broke it. Nope. They broke it. It wasn't in a broken state. They broke it. You fix it. You break it. You buy it. You break it. You fix it. So somebody was asking about, Teresa was asking about a light bulb changer. I don't know if she's seen one of these before, but those are basically the kind of thing. It's a pole that extends, and you basically twist it and you pull, and then you can make it like very tall, 10 feet maybe or more. The one I've got is probably about 10 feet. And then I've built.
I've got one of those. You extend it, and that's what you use to whack the bison out of the tree.
Yeah, whack it.
And it flying.
You have to be careful doing that because you got to put it back where it was supposed to. If you put it back exactly where it was originally, Goofus.
Look, when I signed it, it was on the ground.
No, it wasn't.
It fell out of. They should have tied it better.
No, it wasn't.
So what kind of container was this that was broken of yours?
Oh, they'd broken the zip tie. Was all. No big deal. But I was like, I just want to see, because I can go out and do it, but they broke the zip tie. So I'm like, are you going to go back out and fix that? Because if they're going to do it, I'm not going to do it. They did it. They could do it, but they didn't do it.
Well, now it sounds like you need to maintain your caches better.
It was fine.
Rusted
It was fine when I put it out there.
towel in there, and you expect somebody else to. You won't pony up the 3 cents for the bigger one. Come on now.
Yeah, really. No, Goofus. They broke it. They should come back with a zip tie and fix it. But
I don't think it's their job to do geocache maintenance on your cache.
I assumed. Yeah, right. So I just go around breaking all. No. And then I don't know if you've heard this before. A friend of mine had this happen. So they were, and this was at Diablo, which you and I searched for.
Oh,
So
yeah.
They actually found it.
Oh, wow.
This was back before the cache owner took it away and then claimed it was not there. But anyway, that's for another show. Drink. He opened up the container and boop, there went the top to the container. And you're up on an old railroad trellis. And there's the railroad's not there anymore, but the trellis is still there. Pooh, there it goes. So what does he do? He sent a note to the owner and said, I've dropped the container, the cache, the top to your container. I have the exact same container at home. I'm going to go back home and get it. And tomorrow I'll come back out here and I'll replace it. So he did the proper thing. Proper geocaching.
That happens sometimes, like a nano. Those things, especially during the wintertime.
Yes.
Those things are small. So what I typically do is say, I just write my log and say top was missing when I got there, and run.
No,
just get out of it real quick.
No, Goofus.
What? I'm not going to take the blame for that. I'll have some mean cache owner like you tell me I need to fix it.
No. Yeah. Darren's right that they can break. I wasn't that it was broken. My thing was that if it was me and I broke somebody's, I would just leave a note, go, hey, I've got some zip ties. I'll come out here and, put it back up correctly. But they didn't respond back at all. They just were like, oh, it broke it. That's my 7th find. I'm just going to move on. I was like, you should come back out there and do that. So
you're just trying to get out of geocaching maintenance, it sounds like to me.
Yeah, no, Goofus. Sherry writes, well, that's hard if you are from out of state. Fixing a broken container, I may or may not have had that experience. Yeah, got to see Sherry, by the way, and gosh, Sherry, how many did we have? We had a non-event. We had coffee to Starbucks. It wasn't a real event, but we all sat outside, socially distanced.
Mm-hmm.
It was about 10 of us, something like that.
COVID violator.
We were COVID violating with
shame
with our little group of we weren't really together. We were just happened to be in the same vicinity.
Okay.
No, we were very careful, but had a great time. We got to see some cachers from Western Arkansas. Coon and Bud couldn't be there, but some others were there. So we had a great time. Thanks, Sherry, for putting some of that together for that. Had a great time. A lot of fun. But she brings up a good point. Is you're out of town. Pardon me. Well, that's hard. That's true. Let the cache owner know.
Yeah. It's not like you did it on purpose, right?
Right.
Like when you get to one of those gadget caches and they're all tricky and you have to force your way into it, you just tell them, hey, man, I broke it. That's what happened. You should have made it so hard.
No.
What? Find cache, sign log. Isn't that the rules?
No.
You're not going to play your little puzzle games too?
Yeah. Which brings me to my next story, which is, I told you this one a while back when this happened, and the guy owned up to it. He did own up to it, which I don't know what you say about this, but to expect broken pill bottles to be replaced? Yes, I do. Replace if you broke it. If you didn't break it, then you don't have to fix it. Somebody else
with a better container, right? Leave a couple extra pills in there. Isn't that upgrading it?
Upgrading it? No.
Oh, okay.
If you broke it, you replace it. If you didn't break it, let the cache owner know. If you have a similar container, I guess it's
That's not always your fault, though. Some of those little pill bottle containers, when you chunk them out the window back to where they're supposed to be, sometimes they break on the pavement.
No, Goofus, you can't do that. No, you have to put them back properly. Okay, so quick other story, which is somebody had claimed that they had found and signed the log in my gadget cache out at the Cotton Museum. And they had sent me a note and they said, the lock isn't working. I said, okay. What did you think that the container, because the cache tells you, well, it hints at the words of things like cotton. You look on the outside of the container of the birdhouse, you count the number of cotton balls. It mentions the word sun, so you count the suns. There's one sun. Heart, it has heart, so you look for hearts. There's actually two. One's kind of hidden underneath. Well, they saw cotton and they said, "Oh, there's 5 letters in cotton." So the first new number in the 5-digit lock is 5. Oh, the next one is 3 or whatever, whatever they are. So they go, "Oh, I was trying to put in the combination, which is whatever they came up with, 52463 or whatever." I said, that's not correct. I said, that's not the right one. I said, you're looking for, when it says cotton, it means count on the outside of the container. And they go, oh, maybe that's why it wouldn't open. Well, we just dismantled your gadget cache and then signed the log, but we put it all back together again.
Yeah. Is there any rules that say they can't take it apart? I'm just saying.
There is now.
You shouldn't have made it available to be taken apart. And first, you should have. Direwolf beat me to it. There are not 5 letters. Well, there are 5 letters in cotton.
6.
There's not only 5 letters in cotton. There's actually 6 letters in cotton. So they should have put that together when they did it.
You get the idea. Boy, everybody's
spelling's not important anymore. You have spell check, right?
Yeah. So cotton 6, whatever. You get the idea.
But did you put it anywhere on the cache page where they can't take it apart however creatively they want to?
Well, UDAC mentions the common decency rules.
Hey,
I did
the description. You already said we're supposed to read the description. Take extra time to read the description. You didn't put it in there. Don't unscrew this cache.
Yeah, I think I actually did now. I got to go back and look real quick. I'm pretty sure I went back later. I'm going to double check it while we're talking, but
so now you're changing the rules after you publish the cache.
After I published the cache. Well, I didn't know somebody was going to take it apart. That was not the intent. I think I really did change it. I'm going to go back and look. I did reword it after that. I said, well, because here was their excuse for why they dismantled it, which I know I should have followed what West Virginia Tim says, which is use different screws so that they can't just use a standard Phillips or you need to like glue it in place so they can't do that kind of thing.
And how do I unscrew it if you do all that stuff?
Yeah, how am I going to do that? Then what are they going to do? They're just going to break it at that point. So I sent them a note.
Walk away from the smiley. They're there. They should walk away. Smiley. Come on.
Do you walk away from the smiley at that point? I don't think you walk away, do you? So I asked them, I said, what do you think you should do at this point? And they said, well, if I remove my log, you're going to lose your favorite point on it. And so here's what I'll put it in the banner of what I've added a note on the end. So I'll put it here in the show. Here's what is now worded on the cache. Put the lock back correctly so it is not upside down, because I had somebody put it back upside down, which makes it hard to do. For the next cachers, don't break or dismantle the cache. If you can't figure it out, message me or move on, but don't cheat and try to undo. It cut off. Undo the cache, undo the screws, or force the cache in any way is the final part.
That's an awful lot of rules for somebody who's just trying to get a smiley. Oh, now if I get there, I show up, I found the cache.
That's true.
Can I just sign my name on the outside of the birdhouse or whatever?
Birdhouse? No.
What if I get a piece of paper, sign my name on it, and squeeze it in through the crack?
No.
I found the cache, signed the log. I'm just saying.
So, fortunately, from now on, people have, if some people have DNF, there have been a couple DNFs. Some people have avenged their DNFs, which is nice. So one person saw each mentioned clue, but was unable to assemble an answer that worked. So they DNF'd and they moved on. So that's mark a DNF and, take your lumps and move on. That's just the way it is. It happens.
Put a bison tube right on top of it.
Heck it with an axe. No, Jinxer. And then sign log. No. Yeah, there you go.
You didn't say that you couldn't use an axe on it.
Yeah, that's true. Owen writes, Phillips, Hex, Allen, and Security, which are starred. Yep, that's good. I've seen the ones that are the one way. If you can screw them on with like a standard, but you can't go the opposite direction. It's only flanged so that you could do it one direction. So hit it with an axe. Yeah.
What if you just back your car into it and say, oops?
Oops. By the way, you can back your car into this one, sort of. Well, there's a pole there. I guess you take the pole out.
Everybody heard it. Gary just gave permission.
No, I said you could. You shouldn't.
You didn't say you shouldn't. You said you can.
You can.
That sounds like permission to me.
No, you shouldn't. Direwolf really wants Goofus to be around all the time. So, all right, next one.
Okay.
Next one is, where do you want to go next? Log Anarchy.
Yeah. So, my feelings on this. If I find a log, I sign it on any spot I want to. There is no rule that says I have to use the last spot and write out your full name and date and everything else. There's so many gaps in there. As a matter of fact, it's fun to kind of hide it. There's a stamp on there, and I want to put my little bit initials in there. And why would you date it? That doesn't make sense. Then you can't claim it on the day that you need to.
Well, Goofus, you should sign.
But what if I need a souvenir? I have to have some just in my pocket that I can claim any day I want to make that streak happen.
A pocket. That's right.
If I put a date on it, then people know I didn't really streak.
Put that one in my pocket for
That's
later.
right. That's a couple extra caches I'll log when I want.
Earth Cache. Oh, don't log it today.
That's right.
Keep it for Earth Cache Day.
You probably sign it and put the date on it and everything, right?
We put the sign, the date. We actually had an FTF today, which we're not FTF hounds, but it's rare, very rare. But FTF, if you do an FTF, you put FTF, you put the date and the time, and then you sign a little bit on there. So Goofus,
you backdate it some, so people will be like, he found this before it was published. That's a fun game to play.
There you go.
I found this 2 days ago.
It wasn't right. It was last night. It was published last night. How could you have found it 2 days ago? No.
Found this under my sock puppet account.
Now, I will be honest, Goofus. I think that it is gallant that you signed it somewhere. And I agree with you. There are people who sign with these ginormous stamps. I don't know where they're finding them, but they take up way too much space. There must be older stamps, maybe. I don't know, but they're huge. And so
I usually just scribble those out and write my initials on top of them.
No, don't scribble it out. No, Goofus, but you can. No,
they shouldn't have used the big stamp. You just said it.
They shouldn't use a big stamp, but
so I can scribble it out and
no,
find.
But you can. I have had to, because you're out of space. You can put proper geocaching log inside of theirs if you have to. But if you can, sign one line, take one line, please, of the log. Do not sign across it. I've seen people sign across the
I don't think
nano.
I've seen that rule written anywhere.
No real rule. This is just more proper geocaching. These are words to live by. These are not necessarily written down. Oh yeah, the fatty Sharpies. Oh my. Yeah, I've seen a lot of
I've
those.
practiced my signature for a long time. I want to be able to show the whole thing on there.
The whole thing, Memphis.
How will people know
Mafia.
how important I am if I don't have a big signature?
Have so okay, yeah. The KC11 says they have small stamps. Mine's 3/8 inches. That's good. Fits on an line. That's perfect. That's perfect. So I have to ask. Let me ask Jesse a question. It's like he's a dual personality. Do you ever put MM?
No, frequently.
Do you guys do that? Okay.
Yeah. Now, if it's an all non-goofus reality, it's really dependent on the cache, right? Again, if it's a pill bottle that's under a bush, it's an MM. I don't really care that much.
Right.
It's just another smiley, right?
It's
if there's
not,
nothing special to it. Now, if it's
not
something I've
bingo.
worked a long time for, height, and there's a nice book where you can write a story in it, I'll write a story, write it for full name, date, and have a bunch of fun with it. But what are you going to do on a nano other than do your little bit initials and stuff?
Right. I like Scott's. What happens if you're FTF when you find it by accident with no information?
Find is a find.
Find's a find. Which is interesting because we've talked about this before, where you found in almost there is even going to be another show about this, so it really is for that. This is for another show. But have you ever found an archived? Susan and I found an archived. I think it was an archived puzzle final. No, it wasn't a puzzle. It was a traditional. It was an archived traditional, but it wasn't locked.
You just backdate it, right? So you can find it before it's archived.
We signed it, but we put the current date. We just said we found it.
Shame on you! Oh my gosh,
Is that Goofus?
Cheater!
Well, we found it.
You found it. That's right.
Tom says he got FTF on an archive cache. So Tom, you're saying this cache archived with no fines? That's weird. Oh, wow. Now there. But when you found archive cache, did you sign it? And Tom says he put the date when he found it. Okay.
I don't think anybody really is going to go back and check on that.
No.
So what I do is I just search for archive caches.
Archive with no fines.
And I assume that I can't find them, so I just go ahead and log them anyway. It really helps the fine count. I try to do about 5 of those a day.
No, Goofus. No. You can't do that.
You did it. Why can't I? Nobody cares anymore. Those are all archived. It doesn't matter.
Scott wrote there. Those are what I call zombie cache, dead once but still living.
Mm-hmm. There's so many of those out there.
Yeah, we are gonna talk about that actually.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh gosh, that is in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we're going to show about actually deliberately trying to hunt for DNF'd, needs maintenance, or archived caches and what you do about those. But we're not doing that tonight. All right. So we're starting to get down. Let's go to the next one. We talked about what to do if you can't reach it. I told the story. Okay, so tree climb. So
good one.
I personally treat a tree climb, if I'm by myself, number one, and I don't feel comfortable climbing that tree, I don't log it. I can't log it. I didn't find it.
You saw it?
I saw it. Well, maybe
Yeah.
maybe saw it. If I'm with a group and I'm not doing the Texas Challenge, but by the way, in Texas Challenge, that's a different thing because you're doing a particular challenge. Everybody has to climb the tree.
I believe that's how geocaching works too.
Well, it's supposed to, I guess. But if I'm helping.
So what about if I'm the monkey in the group? I climb up, throw the cache down to the ground.
Right.
They found it and signed it.
We found it. Throw it back up to you.
So should everybody in that group claim that find?
That one of all the ones we've talked about tonight, that to me is the hardest to
admit to because you've done it.
Oh, I've done it. Yeah, you and I have done it. I'm not saying I've never. You and I did that. You climbed a tree one time, and I claimed it.
I don't remember it, but I believe it.
But should I claim it? It was the one where we went out one night and we went to find
yeah. We had to go back to it.
We're on the wrong tree. We'd search. You and I searched. I was flashlighting the tree, and you were climbed up in it.
Yeah,
it is not here.
I forgot.
We'll come back tomorrow. We'll come back tomorrow, and we'll have a better shot at it. So we came back and
Cheater. How do you even show your face on a geocache?
I know.
Oh my gosh, what a cheater!
I did help. I sort of, and this may be wrong, but I saw it as more of I helped just like a puzzle. I try to solve all the puzzles I can, obviously, but if somebody else solves the puzzle and I drove out there with them, I provided the transportation. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. I'm just using another cache as a tot.
So what if that cache was the last fizzy square you needed?
Oh man,
I didn't climb the tree. Would you feel okay about it?
No.
So it's okay to cheat if it's not a fizzy square.
It's my last one. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't run into that situation yet. So
what I prefer to do is get there, early, climb the tree, and then just climb a little higher for the next person to try to climb it, and attach it up higher, right?
Put it backward.
Rehide better than you found it.
No, that is something you and I have probably heard 1,000 times. Hide it better than you found it. No, you're not really supposed to do that. That's not up to you. Now,
but I know more. So shouldn't I just school these other people and tell them how to do it?
No.
Come on, guys. You can get higher up in the tree than that. You started on the third branch.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. So UDEX, it'd be okay with it, with not breaking my neck. That is true. Yeah. If you can't climb it,
it's all worth it for the smiley, though.
It's all about the smiley.
It's all about the smileys. No matter what you have to do, chop the tree down. Nobody said you had to climb the tree. You just had to get
that's
right?
true. I had a cache one time who, I think it was more carelessness. I don't think it was a situation where somebody said, "Oh, I know a better place to put this." Those happen, but I went out to check on my cache because somebody mentioned something about it. I don't know if they do. A couple of DNFs, and I usually go look. I'll go look. One DNF, I'm like, how many finds do they have? They have 3 finds. Yeah, they probably just can't find it because they don't know what they're looking for. Couple DNFs, okay, I'll swing by and take a look. So I swung by this cache, and I looked, it's like it is gone. So I widened my search and found my cache. I'm thinking, why did it get all the way over here when it was originally was over here? I mean, it had migrated because people had just picked it up, opened the container, signed it, and put it back kind of where they thought they had originally found it, but they didn't pay attention to where they had put it or where it was originally. So they go, or they thought, that's close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough. Come on now. What do you want to do it exactly?
Before you pick up a container or move a container, make note. If you have to take a picture, take a picture.
What if my coordinates on my phone are different than yours are? I got to make sure I put it back at GZ, right?
No, put it back where you found it. Now, if you think there's a possibility that this is not where the cache owner originally put it, send them a note. Just give them a quick note because it's just that simple. It's very simple. It's on every app. Cachly has it. Of course, they still send you to geocaching.com and they'll let you send them a note and say, hey.
Sounds like a lot of trouble to go for somebody else's cache. Why don't I just claim the smiley and move on?
No, Goofus, you got to do the proper thing.
Ah.
Yeah, as logs roll and so do caches. Yeah. So that is key. Put it back where it was originally. Make a note if you're bad about remembering where it happened to be originally. So do what you can there. All right. We're getting toward the end here.
Mm-hmm.
What to do if someone damages your cache? We talked about that. You do not beat them to death, Goofus. You do not call them out.
Slow enough to stay there, and I can catch them. Why not?
No. All right. I think we've wrapped up.
The other thing, and we don't really have time to get into this tonight, but somebody just said it perfectly.
Okay.
Here it is. As we're kind of wrapping up, it's all about how you want to play the game. If you don't hurt anyone else and don't blatantly break the rules, who cares? Well, it turns out some people can't live by that. I came across this the other day, and many may have found this on Facebook. I try not to be on Facebook ever.
Me either. Not much. That's for sure.
You know what? This is a game. We have fun with it, but some people, I guess, are not grown-ups. And there's whole Facebook groups dedicated to who people think are cheating. They're calling cachers out by name.
Oh, that's
bad.
Now,
they may not be cheating. Who cares? They did not steal money from your family. They are not taking away your fun. Get over it. If you get so caught up in trying to be the cache police, you will never enjoy this game. That is just the most petty thing. There's more than one group out there too. I think it's called like geo cheaters or geocaching cheaters, and they're calling people out. Hey, I found this cache. I didn't see their name on the log. And seriously, that blows me away so much. I had to immediately get away from that because I didn't want to get sucked into that. Right?
You don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
No, I mean, come on. If you have enough time to sit there and play around and try to rat people out on Facebook, you can either one, be finding caches, or two, go find a new game. That's just like, how does that fulfill you? Just like the we just said in the chat room, who cares what other people do? We know people cheat all the time. You know, there's so many versions of cheating and everything else. That does not take away from your pleasure of the game. Go out and have fun, build better caches, find better caches. Don't worry about other people. And we kind of made fun of some of these rules tonight, but
Scott wants you to go to a news group or Reddit.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, turn on TV news if you want some crappy stories.
Controversy. Yeah.
If you want controversy and crappy stories and a bunch of lies, turn on the news. We play this game to get away from all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's really sad to see. But, and again, we're poking fun at a lot of these rules tonight, right? I mean, we're joking back and forth. Obviously, most of what I said tonight was BS. I don't believe any of that stuff. We're having fun with it. But live and let live. Have a lot of fun. Try to do the right thing. But if you have enough time that you can chase other people around for not doing the right thing, you should probably, learn another language or something because you've got too much spare time.
Yeah. One thing I would say on that, and something that KC11 said, divide and conquer is cheating. I agree. One thing that I would say is I disagree slightly, and that is, yes, it is a game. I call it a sport because I think it has rules. There's certain things I could say of why I think it's a sport. But one thing that I think
that could be a fun show, by the way. We'll debate that one day.
Yeah. But one thing is that what you do sometimes will spread to others.
Mm-hmm.
TFTC is a good example. Whoever originally came up with TFTC, hey, that thing spread like wildfire.
Right.
How many times have you seen TFTC? I've seen it thousands of times.
And plus one.
Tens of thousands of times I've seen TFTC. So that person's what I would call a lazy log has spread like a wildfire.
In fairness, does that hurt anybody, TFTC?
It doesn't hurt anybody, but I think it diminishes in some. I think there's times where a cache deserves better logs.
Well, and we've had this chat before, right? 80% of them probably don't. 20% of them probably do.
If you put TFTC on Mingo, I mean, you're not hurting anybody. But
to the other question, right? Who's that log for? We didn't even have time to touch on that tonight.
No.
Who's that log for? The cache owner, other cache finders, or the cache hider?
It's mostly for the cache owner, in my opinion.
So for the cache owner.
Cache owner, not for the cache hider. It's not.
We may have to revisit that because there's some different opinions on that one.
Integrity counts. Apply it to yourself. Absolutely.
There you go, right there. That would really sum it all up, right? Yeah. Play like what you think is the honest way to play.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Pizza Ninja. Appreciate that. We're the real MVPs, apparently. Thanks for the great. Yeah, but whoa, and I think that there is something. How about that? I moved one thing, and it made my cup move. I think when you do the lazy, especially when you do the lazy physically, when you're like, I'm not putting the cash back where it originally was. I'm just going to throw it down nearby. You are ruining the game for others in other ways. And we don't have time really to get into tonight, but here's another example. If you're lazy in, I'm just going to tell everything about the cache. I'm going to tell you where it was. I'm going to put a photo of it. It was, it's supposed to be a clever, hide, but I'm going to ruin it for everybody else. I'm just going to put it on. Oh, you know what? If you look carefully enough, you can, if you unscrew you can, and push this lever, the cache will pop up out of nowhere and you didn't know it was there, but I'm giving you all the information and I'm going to spoil this cache. So again, are you hurting anybody by doing that?
Well, I think that's more blatant cheating. Yeah. You are spoiling the game for other people doing that. And I think it all comes down to integrity, right? Everybody has a different opinion. Just like somebody just said, they love signing with "thanks for the cash," or the little dollar sign in there because it feels like it's geocaching lingo. I absolutely did that earlier. Oh yeah, too, sometimes you can't make up stuff, but I think the big deal is would I prefer somebody to do something better on my logs, on my caches? Of course I would. Yeah. However, if that's what they've got, that's what they've got, right? They may not have been impressed. They may have seen that 50 other times and nothing more to write on that one. And the whole thing is, I think if we try to be good game players and we're trying to do the right thing that we think is right, I don't know how anybody could possibly think spoiling a cache and giving away the answers is right? Like, I don't know how you'd stretch that, but I think if we try to do what's right, we'll generally be in the right ballpark.
Yeah. I think that's, like you said, I think that's a good point. As we're wrapping up, Scott mentions about he'd rather have TFTC than some cut and pasted cache log where people are just trying to get a certain word count. I've seen that.
We've been guilty of that. Look, hey, there's that, that badge, what is it, gemstone badge or whatever on Project DC. Sometimes you have very little extra words in there for it.
We'll have to talk about the badges someday because there is a ton of badges on that thing.
I like them too. I like the new design and everything. I know we've touched on them before, but they're great.
Yeah, that's a good point too. It'd be nice to read more meaningful logs on events, on her events. That's a good point.
Or have favorite points on events. That would be awesome, but that's not an option. So
that's a good point, Direwolf. Is it'd be good to put in your cache descriptions. Spoil logs will be deleted. So,
and that's actually in the rules. You can delete a log for inappropriate content or spoiling the cache. So,
Yeah.
But again, try to be good people to the game. That's how you teach other people good habits, is trying to do the best that you can. People see that.
Yep. Helen's got a good point. Helen, appreciate you joining. TFC, like, amen. Yeah, it happens at the end of our log, but not in place of a log. That's a good point. Thanks you, Helen. That's a great one. All right. Did we exhaust at least for tonight?
Well, we had several more things in the notes that we'd love to have gotten to, but we were having fun with this, so we may have to revisit this at some point in the future.
Yeah, it was good.
Come up and things change, right? Trends.
Yeah, no, you're right.
We didn't even touch on Adventure Labs. There's probably a whole etiquette we could do around that, and those little reviews afterwards, and the 5 stars and everything else, right?
Oh yeah, jeez, yes. We just scratched the surface of this, but I think we had fun with it, and I think hopefully we gave good information. That's the point. Geocache Talk is for entertainment, but also for education. So we want people to do the right thing, because, as I mentioned, and I'm gonna wrap up with, is that it's infectious. You do the right thing, others will do the right thing. They will follow leaders. Be a leader. People will follow your lead. If you do the wrong thing,
they'll probably still follow your lead.
Then they'll probably still follow you.
Yeah.
That's perfect. All right. We done?
That's it.
That's it. Okay, here we go.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight, as well as our new format. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Goose.